Come on, play it. Oh well, we'll just go to the screen then. That's just been weird. Don't know why that happened. Hello, folks. How you doing? It's me again. You're probably sick of my face, to be honest. I'm on here all day, every day. I've literally got nothing better to do. So I've got a guest today. Amazingly, we've picked up a contact from something else I did last week. Her name is Tanya Vital. She's an actress, she's a presenter, and she's basically just in the exact same boat as me, trying to get around this landscape of live streaming. So rather than us have a private conversation about questions and getting to know what each other know, we just thought we'd live stream it. Why not? So if you've got questions for her, you can ask away. You can ask away, whatever you like. So Tanya, welcome.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me. I've been watching your streams.
Oh, thank you. So we have been in conversation slightly just about stuff that's going on. So you watched the networking, the Southeast Salons event.
Yeah, so I met Jason, who runs a salon, through Emma, who's a writer, and came in person when we were allowed to, be with each other in person to the first stream at Lewisham, I think it was, Shapes, at that little centre that they have there. And this was supposed to be the second one there, I think. And obviously we're on lockdown, so it went online, and I joined that. And that's when I saw you streaming, and I was like, oh, a streamer. I need to know everything she knows.
I am barely a streamer. I'll be honest. It's a weird thing that I've been setting up for this since October, but I really was preparing to be a Twitch streamer, and
Right.
I've just did not hit my stride with streaming before I could put the time and effort in to get the Twitch stuff up before
Yeah.
all this happened. So I think I'm in like this little niche where I'm almost a Twitch streamer, but I have no audience there, and it takes a
Right.
long time to build an audience on that side. So
Hmm.
I'm now just stuck. I'm not stuck with being on Facebook. Facebook's great, but my
Yeah.
audience is here, so I don't do street Twitch stuff. And I think
Yeah.
people who do Twitch stuff aren't going to come on to any other platform because they're making their money there,
Absolutely.
right? Now is the time for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've just recently that was the question I wanted to ask actually. I got into Twitch through a drag artist in America actually. Her name is Bitch Pudding. And obviously because all performers are on lockdown everywhere across the world, our industry is being decimated. Everything is going online, and she hosted the first drag event online. I think it was 3 weeks ago at the beginning of the lockdown over in LA. So I was watching the show and I was like, this is amazing. How can I kind of take some of the elements she's created and use them for actors or other performers in the same boat as me? And that's when I started trying to research everything about Twitch, and I'm in love with it. But yeah, I agree. Like the audiences are very, very different between Facebook and Twitch. I really love Twitch, and I really want to make something of my channel on Twitch, but I'm having to start with Facebook.
Yeah, I think Twitch. A lot of what I've discovered is a lot of people don't understand. I mean, I'm no way a pro. I'm a screaming amateur. I just happen to be a couple of months ahead of everybody else. On who aren't already on Twitch. Obviously, the Twitchers have been on there for years.
Yeah.
But like Twitch isn't a matter of just turning up and streaming. Like you don't get eyeballs until you've got three consecutive people that always come back. You need to have done what is it like 8 hours in a month.
Yeah, because you get like tiers of things, don't you? Like every time you pass like a goal, every time you have like maybe 3 people watching, or you get comments in your chat, and yeah, you build up your persona, I guess, like that.
Yeah.
But this, I've seen some really good channels, and that I mean, a lot of them, to be fair, are in America. I think it's a very American thing at the minute. I think it seems to be quite new to Europe. Um, but now is the time, really. So we're still ahead if you think about it, because we're probably the only people I've met talking about Twitch.
Yeah, I'm actually for a lot of gamers and cosplayers. So, like, my band is
Right.
a comic book rock band about
Yeah.
sci-fi stories and stuff. So I do a lot of comic cons, and folks from there are very much Twitchers, but it's gamers essentially.
Yeah.
That's where it
Yeah.
started. Somebody was telling me the other day, and this is a third-hand information, that Twitch was really looking for more European gamers and stuff. It's just not the same as it is in America.
Right.
But there's a lot of musicians that I follow that are British. I've got some friends in a band called Tesseract, and their drummer and their singer are both on there, and they do loads of really great stuff. So that's what inspired me to go try and get on Twitch. Was watching
Right.
them, and it was just really good fun.
Yeah, and I love. I mean, what OBS system do you use? Because I use Streamlabs, and I just love the fact that now, essentially, I've worked for almost 20 years in TV, and now I have the control to create my own program, almost TV quality. I love it.
Yeah. So if you're using Streamlabs, I'm assuming you're on a PC. Is that? Are you on a
Yeah,
PC?
yeah,
Yeah.
PC, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on a Mac, and Streamlabs doesn't exist for Mac. So
Ah,
when I started looking into it, I tried. I actually have a PC as well that my fella uses for gaming. So I tried to set them up on two separate channels at the same time, like two computers at the same time,
mm-hmm.
and that's how I realized that Streamlabs wasn't really that available for Mac. However,
Right.
so it's basically just OBS on its own. But there are differences between Mac and PC that I just haven't been able to set it up on both, and I've given up on the PC version completely.
Right.
Have you
Yeah.
got to animations and stuff yet on your
Um,
Streamlabs?
I think there's quite a lot of widgets that you can add, like for emotes and things like that. I'm not down the emotes and animations line yet. I've been trying to sort out the simple things like adding the DSLR without it shutting off, sorting out this Blue Yeti mic because it's, I mean, it's a good mic, but not good for streaming. All those kinds of things.
And the thing with the camera, I mean, so I don't know if people know this, but I guess it's the problem you're having. That DSLR cameras, for tax reasons, aren't allowed, or cheaper ones or early ones weren't allowed to just run continuously. It's a tax evasion problem.
Yeah.
So mine turns off. Mine's really old. It's a Canon EOS Rebel T3i, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it shuts off after 15 minutes.
All right.
So I've used there's a utility program you can download for Canon. What computer what camera are you using?
So I've got a Canon EOS 650D. Yeah, and I downloaded the, is it the EOS utilities
Yeah,
thing
that's
that
right.
yeah,
Did
I
that not?
downloaded that. And it's great, but again, it's still only opened. Well, it still only stayed awake for 30 minutes, and then midstream it'd shut off. And then in Streamlabs, if it shuts off, you have to. This is like a bit of a technical term. Some people might not know what we're talking about, but then you have to re-add the source and set it all up again, and it's annoying.
Mm.
But I've just downloaded a program that I'm testing where it seems to keep it awake as long as I need it. So yeah, hopefully that goes well.
It isn't a battery issue, is it?
No, because I've got an AC adapter, so it's not a battery issue. It is the tax thing basically. They only allowed them to open for 30 minutes, otherwise they'd have to be described as a video camera or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that because I think your model is later than my model, so mine
Right.
only does 15 minutes. But once it's in the EOS utility function, that's it. It's on for forever.
Maybe it's my settings. I might have a look.
Yeah, maybe. I honestly don't know what the settings would be. To be fair,
It's all trial and error.
I know, right?
Like I say, I've been trialing and erroring, and it's been a lot of error. I had a really good first stream. I was cocky. I was watching all my videos. The streamers were saying, it's not your first stream's not going to be great. I was like, mine's going to be amazing. Just you watch. It
We
was
all did that.
amazing, and no audio. Audio was terrible.
The friend of mine called Matt Rogers, who is over on the Facebook chat, is my tech guy. Is my guy that I go to. Him and a guy called Rick. I have to say, Rick is my OBS man, and Matt Rogers is my general internet dude. And he's saying that you should look at a program called Magic Lantern firmware for the Canon cameras to take away the time limit issues. So there you go.
Thank you.
So I guess that's is firmware stuff that gets updated on the camera itself. Rather, is that what firmware? I don't know what firmware is. I have no understanding of technical terms at all.
Me neither. I've been watching. There's a guy in Paris called Guy Level, and I've literally just been a student of his Streamlabs University for the past week. I've only been doing it about a week and a half, so I'm very, very new.
That's cool. Can you tell me about your microphone, actually?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
I've got
Sorry, just while we're on that, Matt Rogers has said yes, firmware is an update on the camera itself rather than software. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That fella's a real dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about your microphone, because I don't do it the same way you do. So let's chat microphones.
So when we're filming, we use dynamic cameras and different kinds of cameras for mics and different kinds of mics for cameras. But my uncle bought me this because I started to do podcasts. It's a Blue Yeti. That's all I know about it. But I do know it's a cat. Is it cat? Begins with C.
Cardioid?
Yeah, it's cardioid, which is not great for streaming or podcasts. Dynamic mics are better, but I don't have a USB dynamic mic, so I'm kind of stuck with this, and it's all right, but
Why? I don't why is
something
that?
to do with they take sound from all around rather than just here. So yeah, it's tricky to get it sounding clean.
Oh, because it's picking up from across the room. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that what's doing? All right.
Apparently.
So I have an SM7, which is I wouldn't do it. I do have a couple of studio mics, I guess, which I don't use for streaming and whatnot for that very reason, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, but the Blue Yetis, though, a lot of people use them. Surely, or is it more of a musician tool?
I mean, I think they're good. I think they're really good for singing. Apparently, I don't really know. I'm not really a techie on mics, but I just know that a lot of streamers tell people to buy them, and then there's like two sides. The other streamers like, no, they're terrible. They're the worst things. Get a dynamic mic. Just get a cheap dynamic mic. But I mean, it's tidy. It looks cute. It's not too. It's a bit big, but.
Yeah, it's fine. I think it's good enough, Cam. So, what are you going to go for next if you're not going to use this mic? I mean, where do you think?
I'm going to probably try get I don't know, maybe a Behringer. They're not too expensive, dynamic mic, but it's the interface that I need. So I do have a Zoom that I could use as an interface, but then that's just a lot of kit that I'm thinking is, you've got your PC, you've got your Zoom, then you've got your mic and your arm, and just seems like a lot of stuff. So if anybody knows of a good dynamic mic that's USB, please let me know.
Yeah, because I come from a music background, I couldn't tell you that, because USB mics do not exist in my world at all.
Right. Yeah.
So I have a RME Fireface UFX, which is actually my live rig and my music studio. It's my all-in-one. Big up for RME, because I'm probably going to be sponsored by them very soon. So basically, I have been working on a problem with live streaming with RME directly, and that's trying to get OBS to read the RME signal, and it just won't do it. It does it slightly better on PC, but it just does not work at all for Mac.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of things that are all right for PC. And is that again to do with gaming, that they prioritize gaming issues, do you think?
No, I think it's because PC is generally more customizable than Macs are. So I think, I don't know, but I would think that it's because you can build more software for Windows. It's an opener system, or people would put Linux or other types of what's the word? Operating system on a PC, which you cannot do with Mac. Mac is it's slightly. I find it's far easier to use because I've always been a Mac person, but you can't really program Mac other than the apps. That's the only design thing you can do for them. It's just more open ended on a PC, which I think is why you get more of the streamer, gamer, hackery kind of stuff for PC than anything else. So our man Matt Rogers in the chat there is saying that you should look at Rode mics, RODE.
Yeah, I don't have Rode money, but yeah, they are on my list.
You should go to them and just tell them what you're doing and see what happens. Really,
that's you don't get if you don't ask. I might actually do that.
Exactly. I've been doing the kind of same thing myself with all sorts of stuff. So basically, your Zoom interface, you could be using that. It's no issue really. But what I find with my RME Fireface is I have to basically come out of the computer into the interface and then back out of the interface into the computer via the headphone mic input. So I come out of my,
Oh,
it's a very expensive piece of kit, and I come out of the headphone socket on that and go into the mic input on the Mac. Now, there's a
right.
problem you get when you do that because you're sending a stereo signal out from the headphones into a 3-band signal, which I'm sure Matt will be able to tell us with the name of that cable. I just don't know the names of stuff. Because the mic input on the computer is for headphones and mic, because it's
Right.
it's for headset essentially. So if you
Hmm.
put a stereo input in there, it doesn't read the mic because you haven't hit the 3rd band.
Hmm.
So I have to use a little cable that goes from stereo to 3-band to
Oh
fix that
god.
problem. So I just happen to have, I'm just the kind of person that happens to have all this crap lying around their house. You know, that box of bits that no one ever went near? I have raided that like 4 or 5 times in the last couple of weeks just to make stuff happen. And that's how I got around that problem. So I have essentially endless amount of channels I can mix into doing stuff
Oh, that's
at the
good.
end of the day, because it's basically my recording studio is now on my OBS system.
Yeah, it can get expensive, can't it? All the little things, I guess if you were starting from scratch, it can seem expensive. But luckily, because I was podcasting and because I've been in TV and doing my own, filming my own stuff for a while, I had all this stuff lying around, so that was good.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so that's microphones and cameras going. Did you have any other questions about stuff and things?
Um, yeah, I think. Wait a minute, I've got a little list for you. Let me just see where we are on the list. Yep, done mics. We've done webcams and DSLRs. I was thinking about getting what are they, Logitech 920, but now we've figured out the magic lantern. I think I'll stick with the DSLR.
Oh yeah, so I have actually, how many cams do I have in here? I have one, two, including the computer one, which I do not use at all now. I have 4 other cameras, and one of them is a Logi 920, I think it is, which was
Yeah,
the newest one, and I got it on Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and it's the best. It's You're currently seeing it on your Zoom. The punters can't see it,
yeah, it's good.
but it doesn't do bright well
Oh,
because I've got my studio lights on, so it looks really washed out at the moment. But I've also got another one. Right, so after I bought that Logi one, I thought, this is so good, I'm going to get another one. And it was just when the lockdown happened, and there was no more £50 webcams on
yeah,
Amazon. They were
and
gone
they're all
now.
sold out now.
And I can't afford anything more than a 50. I can't even really afford a 50 quid one. But, I'm not going anywhere for the next couple of months. I'll treat myself to another
Right.
webcam. And then one weekend, another webcam came on, and they only had one, and it was 44 quid or whatever it was. So I ordered it, and it's a piece of crap. It is a piece of
Oh,
crap. The thing is, I'll show you what it is. It's not that the so it looks fine on here. Just try and put it somewhere where folks can see it.
oh yeah.
And it comes with
Oh, I've seen
a
those.
little like a thing. The problem I think is that this was absolutely a return. So this is a bit weak. It doesn't hold. I mean, I have to tape it
So
into
it's been
place.
refurbished or
Yeah,
something.
and it's got a little It's like got a little problem with the bottom of its screening. So when you see it on a screen, it's a bit pixelated at the bottom. But hard
Yeah.
times mean hard measures, and I can certainly use this camera because I use really close-up shots of me playing piano or me playing guitar. So when I'm doing stage shows, for example,
Hmm.
so I'll have a stage behind me where I am when I'm playing guitar, and then I'll move to my piano during one live stream. Um, I use this little camera for the really close-up piano stuff because it doesn't matter that it's a bit crap. But I
Oh,
can
that's
see
good.
why someone would have sent this back had it been their main camera because it's a piece of
Hmm.
nonsense. But it's worked out
Yeah,
really well.
you had a 3 camera setup on the salon. I love that. It looks really cool. Yeah, and we said we were going to talk about your stage lighting. So I only have a green screen because of COVID. I'm basically homeless, living at my mum's house, and we've got a little green screen for me to do this. But your stage lighting looks so cool.
So yeah, we've got 2 points there. So my stage lighting is basically I am a technical manager at a library. It's a community-run library. It's in Crystal Palace, Upper Norwood Library Hub in the house. And we have a music venue there, and it's all charity and community based, and we have a little theatre area as well. So when our library closed, I basically ferried out all the lights to people who were for live streaming for us. So I'm the only one who seems to have plugged them in and done anything with them, but other folks do have them.
Yeah, they look good.
So basically, I've stolen a camera stand, and I don't even have a camera I can show you on. Anyway, it's a camera tripod that I've put a light on. And it's a really cheap LED light, but the real kicker with this is it needs to be dimmable. That's the real, like, all these lights are fine, but if you can't dim them down, they're useless to you because they'll just blur out everything. So I've got a Dell laptop, which the library had a couple of these in the basement because they're really they're old as nobody would want them anymore. And there's a program called Q Light Plus. It's free, and out of all the lighting stuff that I've come across, it's the only one I could actually use. So I spent like 2 weeks at one point because of my stage show as a one-person band. I wanted to sync up lights with my backing tracks and me playing guitar and whatnot. So I spent a week just adding free lighting software to computers and seeing what stuff's going on. And this is the only one I could use because I don't really know what I'm doing. And DMX is the system that lighting uses, right? So for video, we're currently using VP, like frames per second, and then for sound, you're using something else, and then for DMX, it's another system completely.
Right.
And it's really mathematical, but it's easy. It runs in like a math equation, and it's really easy to do once you get your head around it. But it's just getting your head around it is the hard bit, and it is quite a learning curve. But with that and a couple of cheap DMX LEDs, you could have a really nice setup.
Yeah, a lot of the streamers, this neon seems to be like a thing, and it's simple. It's really simple, like a neon, I don't know, neon LED, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with it. I mean, so mine does change. I can change settings and stuff. I won't, because that means I have to get up and do stuff. The other thing that I've got that I have told everybody to do, and you can get them on Amazon. It's like a little arm. Can I show you? Maybe on this camera. I can show folks. Yeah, you can see that. It's like this little round
ring light.
arm. Yeah. There you go. You know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's dimmable, and you can change it from being like really harsh white to a colored one, or a mix of it. And that was like a tenner. And I bought that for my mum. Last March, probably, I bought her one for her birthday so she could film herself playing auto harp. Like my mom's in her 70s, or that's what she does. So I bought her one, and the quality was so good that I was like, oh, I'll just get one of them myself. So they're real cheap. They're beauty product things. I mean, you can just easily get one of them.
I might get one of them. I've got like a big light box, but I mean, again, it's huge, and you can't just have it lying around the house all the time.
Yeah, I have 3 light boxes that I bought originally for exactly this, and I just got too much, and I can't dim them.
Yeah,
any kind of dimmable light will immediately make the environment look better.
Yeah,
basically.
I'll invest.
Yeah. So for this lighting, the best ones I found for the price is Chevelle is the company that makes them.
Chevelle.
Yeah, and they have DJ. You can get ones. If you got ones with the remote, you wouldn't need the desk, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So I've just discovered that my TV remote control here will turn that light on and off.
No way.
But it turns, they go.
I mean, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just. I was just trying to turn the TV off the other day.
You found out by accident. That's really funny.
I literally had elementary Sherlock Holmes thing on the TV there while I was setting up, and then I went to turn it off, and I'm like, oh, my light's just gone off. Amazing.
Yep. Okay.
Sorry, it's not Chevelle. It's Chevelle. Is the
Chevelle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that
invest.
and they do DJ equipment. They do everything basically. So if you got the ones with the remote control, that come with the remote, you probably wouldn't need a desk. You'd be able to turn it up and down yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
I've not used that myself, but feeling that some piece of crap PC that doesn't go on the internet anymore Just put the lighting desk on it, and it's real simple.
Yeah,
Plug
I've
it
got a
in.
few of those lying around.
Yeah, you will need a box. Yeah, so this I've got a box here. I can't unplug it because my lights will fall out.
Hmm.
But I've got a
Yeah.
box called it's an N-Tech DMX USB Pro. This one is about 130 quid. They do one for 50 quid, a little blue box one. It will do the job as well. I have bought this more expensive one to future proof my stage shows,
Hmm.
basically, because I want to run bigger rigs.
Yeah.
And that's just the USB to DMX converter. And
All right. Yeah.
you will need a 5-pin to a 3-pin cable.
Yeah.
This is where all those things, again, in this box of trash cables that you had somewhere in your house, you probably won't even have one of them because no one has one of them. It's a DMX cable, the 5-pin to 3-pin converter. Oh,
No,
it's
I know a
mad.
lot of theatre people that might have one now.
Oh, the theatre people. Well, if you know theatre people,
Yeah.
go and hit them up for a stage light. Just hit them
Yeah.
up. I mean, they're doing nothing.
Chris Hoyle, I'm coming to you after this call.
Yeah. So I would just hit up people around you. I mean, especially because I've been asking. We'll go on to that later. Hold on. I want to finish with your green screen before I go on. So, do you have any more questions about my lights, or have I answered pretty much everything?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so simple, but it looks really cool.
Yeah. The other thing I'll tell you, but I won't tell other people, is lights. You need to like make them two different lights, right? So this one is white. This top one is white.
Yeah.
And then one of these is purple and one of them is blue. And I use one of them to highlight that flash
Yeah.
on the gun. And then the
Yeah.
other one is the blue that happens around the edges.
You see that? It's a full production,
Yeah.
guys.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. All the secrets. I'm gonna have to delete this podcast afterwards. I swear to God, all the secrets.
Giving away all your tricks of the trade.
Everything I know. No, it's fine. So I want to talk about your green screen, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about green screen, so let me know.
Neither did I until I bought mine. So I just knew that because I'm kind of, I don't want to say hostage because that sounds awful, but because I'm essentially homeless, squatting at my mum's house, I knew that, she probably don't want everybody to see her house. So just get a little bit of a thing behind me. I got a £40 pop out green screen from Amazon. It's really big, actually. It's really well worth its money. And it does the job. You can add any kind of wallpaper you want behind you for Zoom calls or for streaming. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
And have you put anything fancy in there yet?
So I'm not sure what you can see, but I've kind of just got a plain kind of black wallpaper behind me that I use for my streaming. But I change it up for Zoom calls. It brightens up a Zoom call.
Right. So this actually came up in one of my conversations with someone not that long ago. So if you have that green screen, will Zoom just put images on it for you, or
if you save a wallpaper to your Zoom settings, it'll just come up on your Zoom chat.
But it won't if you don't have a green screen.
No. No, I think it can actually. I think it does, but I don't think the image is as clean. I think you kind of get like a furry, like blurry kind of outline to you, but I think it still can do it.
Okay. Yeah, I did not because I just don't. I haven't used it, so I know I've had questions about that. It was Jason actually asked me about that before we did our thing the other day. So my other tech guy, Rick has come on to the Ireland chat there, and he's saying it is all about lighting. It's all about lighting. It's all about lighting.
Yeah.
Rick is my OBS expert, and he's the one that really just tells me all this magical stuff that I don't know about.
Well, then let's ask him about. Does he know about Streamlabs? Do you know about Streamlabs, Rick? I mean, it's a similar system.
He won't know about Streamlabs, I don't think. He will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he does, because Streamlabs is more of the gaming side rather than the OBS. And so what I know is that you don't need to have Streamlabs OBS to use Streamlabs. So I use the animations. I don't have it on this particular setup right now. I can show anyone, but I can just import the animations from Twitch onto any of these chats. So you don't need to use Streamlabs. You just need to have the. Have you started designing overlays yet?
Well, Guile Level, the Streamlabs guru, He makes overlays, and he sells some for like 99 cents or for free. So I just got some of his. But yeah, I was going to ask you about your overlays. Did you make those yourself?
I did, and I'll tell you how I did it because it's really, really, really simple. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a program called Canva.com.
Yeah, can be. Yeah.
It's not a program; it's a website. It does
Yeah.
free everything.
Yeah.
Now I have the paid version, and that's like 10 quid a month, but it's because I use it a lot across all my jobs. And what you do is you create whatever you want in there, and then you make it a PNG file
PNG. Yeah.
with a transparent background, and that's how I make mine. So I just put a rectangle.
Oh,
So I basically have my little overlay. For folks on who Facebook or whatever who don't know what an overlay is, you're looking at Death and Gloria and this bottom thing here. This is an overlay. So I just made a white triangle. I put my logo in it and my website address, and put two logos either side of it, and that's it. And then I layer
nice.
those in OBS. So so I sit you can save it as you just get to the presentation template, and then you make whatever you want, and then download it as a PNG file with a transparent background, and that solves your entire problem basically. So you don't need to
That
pay
is
people.
so simple. I didn't know I could do it in Canva. I might
Yeah.
try because I need to do some social media banners for my channel.
Oh yeah, so Canva has all the templates for everything, for all social media banners, for everything. Canva is the way forward. It's worth the £10 a month. So I started with Canva years ago because it came up on a music industry management podcast, weekly Music Business Weekly by
Hmm.
Michael Brandfold. It came up on his thing years ago, and so it has every template for every social media, YouTube, Facebook, everything, all of them, and you just
Hmm.
pick your template. So when I started with it, it was a free service and everything was free, and then they've got more expensive as they've gone on.
Yeah, the
And
elements and stuff. Oh,
yeah, and
knocked the
now
camera.
it seems like you have to pay for, if you download too many things, you have to pay for it. So
Ah, okay.
Jason
I'm
was
just doing a poster at the minute actually on Canva for my channel. We've got a live event coming up. I'm just creating the poster on Canva now.
Oh, I see. You know all about it then. It's good, good.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got the free version. So yes, I'm quite limited on to like the elements, meaning like the clip art and things for those that don't know. But yeah, I can do some things on it, but I didn't know I could do the overlays, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think the problem that you might fall into is like you start getting into PNGs, which are like memory heavy. They're just bigger files, and
Yeah.
that's where Canva might start cutting you off, or limiting how many you can do. I think
Right.
that's what other people have found, but Canva has just added another pay level, which is like a £3 one that lets you keep elements. I'm not entirely sure because I pay for the £10 one, £10 a month. But it's on the paid version you can resize stuff. So if you make a poster, uh, on for one thing, you can press the resize button and it'll resize it to every social media thing you want. So it'll go to Twitter size,
Ah,
banners, everything, and yeah, it's really worth it in my
okay.
mind. There are Canva's great, but there are other alternatives available.
Yeah.
And if Canva would like to sponsor me, it's info@deathandgloria.com. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all my overlays are done that way, and I have just so when I make one, I just duplicate it and then change it again to like the double screen or a triple screen.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I can. Maybe I can go. I'll maybe be able to show folks the other screens just while we're on here, because yep. So there's my three screen one, which you can see my two different cameras, one being a complete lemon. And there's my two screen one. Yeah, that's fine. And then we go back to the one screen one where you are, and that's amazing. And then we can put it on. Yeah, I think, yeah. I think that's all I've got to say on overlays. I guess.
What about Discord? Do you use Discord? I've no idea. It's Discord seems like the elusive pimpernel to me. Everybody seems to talk about it, but nobody seems to explain what it is.
Yeah, I've got one. I do have a Discord. I was just about getting into using it when all this shenanigans kicked off. So, as I understand it, it's basically a anonymous version, an anonymous type of WhatsApp group. Again, I'm not a pro,
Oh,
but basically anyone can join in and everyone can see each other's comments. So imagine it was a WhatsApp that doesn't use your phone number. You sign
right.
on
Okay.
and stuff like that. The really great things I've seen on there that obviously you can't do easily with much else is they have like a voice channel. So when
Yeah.
gamers are playing with each other, I think this is why how they use Discord. So when gamers are playing with each other, they turn on the voice channel on Discord and then they can talk to each other on the stream.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you hear them as they're being heard. And you can also set up what's the word
Like,
files. So like here's where you talk about, for me we have a guitar one, so it's like here's where you post about your guitars and everyone who comes to it
right.
can post about their guitars, and then people can have general chat, and the longer you go on, the more categories I suppose someone gets, I guess.
Hmm.
And that is about all I know about Discord. I have added people on there. I've only got about 10 followers, but that's what I've come across. Some people who use it really well. Again, the band Tesseract has been my main go-to guy. So it's DM Tesseract is Dan, the singer, and it's great. Everything he's got it really well sewn up. He's used it to have people dial in to his Twitch channel and
That's
have a
why I
chat with
was
him.
looking at it to have people call in. There's a this exodus to digital's been good for people who are good with digital, but I know a lot of people who um, don't have access to the internet, and I was trying to find a way for people to still engage with the content I'm trying to create without having to have Skype and things like that.
Well, Discord's not the way forward. So
Yeah,
Discord is a steep learning curve, obviously, because we didn't know what it was, and I can't really get any of my audience from Facebook onto Discord because they don't already have it.
yeah,
So it's
right,
it's just really important, I think, and this is where stuff with the libraries really come in useful. It's like be very specific about where your audience is and
yeah,
how you want them to communicate with you. So at the library, we have a text donation service because the majority of our guys may not want to use PayPal or
hmm.
the internet or whatever, so people can donate to the library via text message.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we may look at. I mean, we're still in the basis of trying to get stuff up and running and stuff, but just beware. Like, where is your audience going to be? If they're kids, what's that kid? If they're a kid at heart or in real age, Discord's great. If they're a gamer, Discord's great.
Hmm.
I'm sure Discord will come into its own for non-gamers as we go forward, but at the moment,
Yeah,
it's not really the way forward.
yeah,
So I think maybe FaceTime is a good one because it will work. Or
yeah.
Zoom. Zoom's the best way to get your people to dial in. My friend Rick over in the chat, he does a thing called Talkioki, which is an open forum talk show that they host, basically. And we're having one tomorrow on our library stream at 2 o'clock, and it'll be our first one. And
I'll be watching that.
yeah, well, you can come and join in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you should come and join it. So it's an open Zoom chat, and it's like a roundtable discussion about anything. I think it's probably going to end up being community of like Upper Norwood, Crystal Palace direction, but anybody can join in.
Hmm.
Um, it's not a local stream for local people. Well, it is, but anyway.
Yeah.
And so they allow random people to come on to their stream. I mean, so that means that you would bring random folks onto your Zoom chat, and you can say whether they're chatting or you can kick them out or you can do whatever, and you can
Right.
you can stream your Zoom chat straight onto Facebook
Right. Oh,
from
okay.
within the system. Now I don't do it that way because I use OBS, and if you use
Mhm.
OBS, you don't need to do it that way
Yeah.
either. But if
But for
folks
people who
don't,
don't have
yeah,
OBS, it's
yeah, they can just go straight from Zoom, which is nice, I think.
yeah, that's good. Um, in terms of like security and things, because I know there's been a lot of talk recently, particularly because we're all on Zoom now about security of like spyware, malware, and things like that. How safe is Zoom? Do you know?
Well, once again, I am in no way an expert, but we did post an article the other day, and that was from Medium, which is a tech site, I think, saying that Zoom is pretty open. Anyone at Zoom, the company, would be able to join your meeting without you knowing or see the stuff that's in there. As I don't know how safe Zoom is, I would just the key to the internet is do not put anything on the internet or do anything in front of a camera or a computer that you do not want other people to know about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Real simple.
Mm-hmm.
I unplug my cameras at night. I turn them all against the wall, or I put my lens caps on,
Mm-hmm.
and I disconnect all my microphones. Not that I'm doing anything untoward or
No,
illegal,
but you
but
just, you know.
but be prepared if you're going to use Zoom and Facebook and whatever that, stuff might leak out somewhere around the
Mm-hmm.
thing. I guess if you really want something to be encrypted, the idea is WhatsApp is the most encrypted service out of those, but it's not a Zoom. It's
Mm-hmm.
a one. You can get multiple people on a WhatsApp chat. I don't know if you can do it with the face function in WhatsApp. I haven't tried it,
No, I've
but
not
that
actually.
is out of all of them the most secure, I think. But then it's owned by Facebook, so who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who can say? I can't say. What am I? I'm just some old woman who just sits in a wee house playing guitar all day. I don't know. What do I know?
So what chat have you got open now? You've got OBS chat and Facebook chat live now. What can you see both chats or is it just one?
Okay, so when you say OBS, do you mean stream
So when I open Streamlabs, I can have um my well, I guess it's Twitch chat
Twitch chat? Yeah.
and Facebook chat. It's all together. Can you have the same?
Oh, is the Facebook chat on your Streamlabs as well?
Yeah, you can have them. You
Oh,
can't
okay.
comment on Facebook, but you can see the comments.
Okay. No, I don't. I don't have any of that. So because I don't have the Streamlabs version, I just have the OBS, which is the straight OBS. And maybe I can. Maybe you can set that up on here. I don't know, but I don't really need it. So I've got Facebook. So Facebook, I've opened it as if I am just a punter,
Okay.
right? Because for some reason, I'll go back to that in a second. So Facebook, I've opened as if I'm just a viewer on my own page,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got Twitch on my phone. So there's an app called Stream Elements. Streamlabs probably has an app as well. I just
Yeah.
like also Streamlabs and Stream Elements do exactly pretty much the same thing. They're just two separate companies and they do them slightly different. I use some parts of Streamlabs and I use some parts of Stream Elements, and it's just by accident that I came across them the way I did. There's no real rhyme or reason. Like they have different price points.
Mm-hmm.
They argue over which one's the best, but it's basically they're doing the same thing. They're just two
Yeah.
different companies. So Streamlabs and Stream Elements are practically the same thing. So the Stream Elements chat for Twitch is on my phone, and it's in companion mode, and it's on a stand that I can see. I can bring wherever I'm playing music at the time. I just bring the stand with the ring light. It's all part of one clip, and
Yeah.
that's it. And that comes with me basically. So the thing with Facebook, right? So they've just updated their live stream studio, I guess. And beforehand, it was a little bit more simple. And you could see people's names pop up as they came into the chat. So on your OBS, can you see the names of people who have joined the chat? Or are you just seeing what they're saying?
Because I've not had any comments on Facebook, it's hard to say. But on Twitch, I'm literally obviously just getting their Twitch usernames.
All right. So are you streaming on your own Facebook page at the same
I
time?
will be streaming when our show goes live. We will be streaming on Facebook and Twitch at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, but you're not live streaming now.
No, I'm not on now.
Okay. So on my Death and Glorious Facebook page, which is where I'm monitoring all the comments, if I go in as the studio, I can't see when people. It doesn't notify me when people come on, which is an error on the new studio. It used to
Right.
happen, but it doesn't happen on the new version. But if I go in as a punter, I can see when people join and who's watching now. So I can see that Matt is watching, and Andy's joined, and Edward's come in, and Brad's come in, and Aliki actually. Hello, Liga. Haven't seen you in a while. She's all popped up. And there's more interaction on the Facebook side.
Yeah.
For me that way. I'm assuming it's you and me on my Twitch screen.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think when my show goes live, it's going to be more people on the Facebook chat, but I've never really used it, so I'm just a bit. I guess my question is, where do I reply to the comments? It will be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, wherever your audience is, that's where
Yeah.
you should aim it at.
Yeah.
The thing I have learnt about producing and being on a show at the same time, which is difficult,
Yeah.
is you have to turn your mic off if you're going to use a keyboard,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah. I've
my
tried to do the noise gate, but you can still hear.
yeah, so my mic's not even like if your mic's on your desk, you you're gonna have problems. So
Yeah.
mine's not even on my desk; it's on a separate stand. But you would definitely hear my keyboard. So I have to turn my mic off. So what I've learned is I can't really do that. I don't want to do that on Zoom. Uh, that's an audio routing issue. I don't. You don't need. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Doesn't matter. So I have on my audio interface. I have a little button that can just press mute on. That is what I have to do before I type anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what I need to do is like create a little sticky thing for my desktop. As in, there's a program on Mac called Stickies, and it's like little post-it notes that go on your desktop. They're not actual physical post-it notes, but
Yeah.
but there'll be some kind of note function on everything. Is like get a bunch of commands up on there. Like if you have a question, drop it in the comments now and stuff like that. It's basically the bot function that Twitch
Right.
has,
Yeah.
the Stream Elements and Streamlabs do on your Twitch feed. I don't.
Yeah. I've got Nightbot.
Yeah, so there must be a version of that for Facebook. I just haven't explored it yet. I mean, there must be a bot version that'll just. There has to be. There has to be. I don't know what it is, where it
Maybe.
is yet, but there
That's a
it is.
good point, actually. Maybe.
Yeah, I have to look into that. And then if feeling that, I need some copy and paste commands that I can just drop into the comment the comments and just
Yeah.
tell people to ask questions or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the two things I look at is a Facebook as a punter, and then the Stream Elements companion mode for Twitch. And I think you
Okay.
can use Stream Elements and Streamlabs at the same time. I can't see that it's going to be a problem. Back to your question about Zoom, my man Rick there has come in and said that Zoom isn't brilliantly safe, but it's still one of the best video conferencing software. He's currently also testing Jitsi, JITSI, which is an open source version supposed to be more secure, but currently missing some features that Zoom has. So, do you know? Have you heard the term open source before?
Yeah.
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 So, for those who don't know, open source OBS is open source, and that's why everybody uses it. And it's free. It gets updated. It's got a bunch of people working on it. And my man Matt Rogers agrees with Rick. How about that? The open version of a Zoom of the Zoom program would assume it's going to be free, and that's why it wouldn't have so many features, because Zoom have been working on theirs behind a paywall, I would
Yeah.
suppose. So, yeah, there's also another one from Zoom called Go-To Meetings that I'm sure we got an email at the library saying that they were free, and it hasn't come back. No one's been able to find the free version.
Right.
So
Yeah,
everyone's on
that's the
Zoom.
question I wanted to ask. So I don't know if I'm crazy or what. So my first show is essentially going to have 8 guests. So I've only tested with one guest. How does it work with multiple people? Is it so you just have like the meeting and then you add them each from that meeting, or how does it work?
Okay. Uh, from what I have done so far, I think we had about 7 people on that South East London salon. So all of that was on a Zoom, and Zoom will automatically choose whoever makes noise to be on the camera. So if you were on on this with someone else and you started talking, my Zoom capture screen for OBS would go to whoever was talking. The problem with that is if someone just rattles around, it will go to them. So if they drop the book or they make a noise, it'll come off the person talking and onto them. So you have to have someone moderate that amount of people. So Talkioki
Right.
also do this. This is how they run their round table discussion. But each of those times, someone was doing Zoom. So for
Yeah.
me, it was a guy called Norman Murray who was behind the scenes, and he muted people when the videos were on, and muted other people when people were talking, and he unmuted them as and when he needed to. And for Talkioki, Rick is the tech guy, and Mikey is the host. So if you can get someone else to host your Zoom party, It would make your life a lot easier because you've got so many buttons going on with OBS and stuff. You don't want to be faffing about with Zoom at the same time, and
Yeah.
it can get a bit messy.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll tell you that came up as a problem for me was that at one point when I was doing my performance, I muted myself on Zoom because that was my talking mic and I was playing through my singing mic and I didn't want it to pick up both mics together. So I got rid of the Zoom one. Um, when Norman unmuted me, it comes up and says, "You have been unmuted by the host, but you are still muted." It was when that happened, it was exactly the same time I was trying to flick between screens on OBS with my hotkeys because I've got those programmed. And the alert that said that Norman had unmuted me overran over I don't know what the word is. The command was overwritten,
Yeah.
so I couldn't use my hotkeys. So I couldn't change camera angles back to the presenter in good enough time because my hotkeys were not functioning because there was an alert from Zoom saying
Yeah.
Norman had unmuted me, which I didn't know was going to happen. There's probably a
Okay.
setting you can get rid of that, but that's something I would never let say to a host of a Zoom party to do. It's like, don't mute me. Whatever you do not mute me at any point. I'll just do it
Right.
all myself. So
Yeah.
that's worth
Yeah.
it. So do you have someone that you can get involved?
Potentially. I mean, I'm trying to get a co-host to take some of the responsibility off, so that while I'm trying to find buttons, they can do a little bit of the rhubarbing, I guess. And there might be somebody that could help with the Zoom chat. So yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. I don't. When I do stuff, I tend not to host Zoom chat. So this is the first. That's a lie. This is the second stream I've done where I've been the host of a Zoom chat. Because otherwise, I just join somebody else's and they do
Right.
they do all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. It's a lot, isn't it? It's it seems really easy and really cool, and it is. It's really fun, but it's also really quite challenging.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying earlier before we came on live that the kids on Twitch make it look easy, but those kids have had nothing else. They've just that's what they do, and they've been doing it from
Hmm.
day dot. And like all of us are trying to scramble to catch up now.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's true.
like any of the tutorials I went through for Twitch, they were all like everyone started at zero, everyone started at crap, you know.
Yeah,
And I actually find one of my first. I used to put. I used to do live streams every Wednesday to my fan base behind a private Facebook group, and I put a couple of those early ones up on YouTube, thinking, "Oh, this is me live streaming now." It was only October, right? It was only like last October, November, and it looks as if it was like in the 70s. The quality of the camera was so bad. I had no idea what I was doing. The resolution was all off, and it just looked like it had been filmed sometime in the 70s. But
yeah.
it just goes. I don't know. What the crack.
That's another thing that I'm finding about Twitch is that well, live streaming in general, I think it's a very different genre. It's very laid back. It's very kind of chilled, easygoing. Whereas like YouTube videos are slick, kind of snappy, and yeah, it's two different platforms completely.
Yeah, I've definitely been trying to explain to folks when I'm on a music live stream that majority of the live stream is me faffing around. You get 3 or 4 songs. It's not a
Yeah.
gig. It's a little bit better than a show.
Yeah, I mean, people stream for like 3 and 4 hours, and they're not constantly doing things. There's a lot of like space to breathe in that, which I like. But I think it's very new to people who've not seen it before.
Yeah. I think this like folks on Facebook certainly expect a more streamlined thing.
Yeah,
I don't think people like the fact that there's a lot of talking on on my streams, and I've also been trying to get music venues to um consider their Facebook pages as their stage real estate now. So don't worry about getting people to come to your venue and streaming from your stage. Stream, get folks to stream from your pages, and
hmm
there's just a different mindset and trying to get people to think that they can just let people in. Literally,
yeah,
just let somebody come and busk on your stage, and your real estate is 24/7.
yeah,
So as a library, we're trying to get as much of our content online. So we've got singing and yoga and all that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to get musicians to fill the space now in the evenings, and it's actually quite difficult. There's a couple coming through now, and I think the further this goes on, the more we'll get. But I have to
Yeah.
try and encourage them not to do it as a show. Like, don't just play the half an hour's worth of songs. If you've got half an hour worth of songs, I'm happy if you're still there in an hour talking to people. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really where the difference is. But you have to play something. You certainly have to play something.
Yeah, it is. Again, I think obviously with the lockdown, a lot of people are live streaming from Facebook now, and but it is the venues. It is changing those traditions and changing those old ways of doing things, and it's slow, but I think they will come round in the end.
And we will be right in front of them
Oh yeah.
all the way. Did you have
Well,
any other questions?
let me just see my list.
As I say, folks at home, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's just so happens that Tanya contacted me and asked if she could ask me some questions. So we're just having that conversation here in front of you, so we can all just practice our live streaming. Essentially, they're all just practice runs for
Yeah,
ourselves.
that's what I forgot to do actually. So I didn't know that I could live stream while, I mean, of course, now it makes sense. Of course, I can live stream while you're live streaming. All I would do is do display capture, right? Like from your, but I didn't think to live stream while you were live streaming. What an idiot.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you were just going to test it out before you went off on your own. Because I've seen your Twitch channel already, and
Yeah.
like you've got it's better looking than mine. To be honest, I'm gonna have to just steal some of your ideas off there.
That's all Guile Levels doing.
Uh,
As I say, gives these videos, tells you how to make it look more inviting and things. Yeah, so it's all from him really.
I think it's a design element. I have all the bits that you have, but your design's just better. I just made some buttons up and then put the rest in as text. I could spend more time on there. I could do that. I could do that. So you've
But
inspired me with this more.
again, it's like it's one of those rabbit holes that you can go down, and you can be forever making your Twitch page look amazing and perfecting your overlays. And I find myself like I've been on the computer all day, and I'm like, oh, it's bedtime now. You could do it forever. I think there has to be a point where we have to remember to log off sometimes. I'm not there yet, but I need to remind myself.
See, that's where those damn kids will always be ahead of us, no matter what we do, because they never log off. That's yeah. Did you have any more questions on there?
No, I think that's it for my list.
Okay, cool. I'm interested in you now. I am interested in you as a person because you're like the most famous person I think I've ever spoken to. No, Rick is way more famous than you are. It's fine. No, it's fine. So yeah, just tell folks what it is that you do, because I have not put up any bio information, and we still your channel to chat about, obviously, about what you're going to do. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm an actor, been an actor for almost 20 years. Most started out in TV, mostly TV, and then more recently, after drama school, I did it all backwards. I started working professionally before I trained, and then I went back to train, and then since then I've done loads of theatre. Yeah, so theatre, TV, voiceover, creating our own stuff, short films, yeah, loads of stuff really.
It's cool. What about this so you're starting your own channel, which is how we got onto this whole conversation in the first place.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So obviously, again, I keep saying this, but since the lockdown, the entertainment industry as we know it is being decimated. I was booked to go work at a theatre for the year. Was in the middle of getting rid of my house in London to go work at this theatre, and then we got locked down, and then obviously now we're homeless and jobless, and a lot of people in our industry are in the same boat. So I put my thinking cap on, and I was like, well, what can I do to help supporters support entertainers in the same boat, help them share their work, maybe get a few little donations here and there to help them with the bills. Lord knows the bills are still coming in. And then again, as I say, I saw sorry for saying the bitch pudding, but that's her drag name.
That's fine.
And she was supporting other drag artists, and I was thinking, well, I could do this for singers, I could do this for actors, I could do this for other entertainers. And that's when I started building up the channel. So we have our proper live show, our first one on the 23rd of April at 7 p.m. The channel is called Foot Culture. If you couldn't tell, I'm from Yorkshire, and in Yorkshire we don't say the. So if we say I'm going to the shop, we say I'm going to shop. We don't say for the culture, we say foot culture. So that's why it's called Foot Culture. Yeah, and I've got a load of local artists from Bradford and the West Yorkshire region, all doing a little bit on the channel.
That's really cool. That is really cool. I've lost my OBS system somewhere. Sorry, I got waylaid by the fact I couldn't find my screen there. That was just so weird. So you're having performers on and interviews. Are you also
Mhm.
doing any classes and stuff on there, or is it just showcasing
At the
others?
minute, I mean, I am hoping to for it to become like people can come there for classes. If somebody's got like a creative writing class, they can do it on my channel. And basically, I want all, like West Yorkshire performers and creatives to use the digital channel however they want to use it, doing classes, yoga, dance, whatever, exercise. But yeah, I'm trying to build it up to that.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed for musicians that so people like bands in town are doing Twitch affiliate programs, which is something I'm trying to get in with. And I'm just wondering, would there be other artistic places that would do Twitch affiliate programs? Um,
I'm just writing that down.
that's all right. Bjorn from Sweden has just come on to say hello to both of us, and he's waving at us.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so bands in town are doing an affiliate program where they're allowing people to get onto their Twitch page. I'm not entirely sure because they don't have an audience. They didn't have an audience either when they started, and they
Right.
only started like 2 weeks ago or whatever. So I haven't been over there yet because I did contact them. I said I am ready and willing to stream and I'm good to go. And they basically came back and said I needed 2,000 followers, sorry, trackers
Mm.
on bands in town, and I only have 180. So first of all, if you're out there and have bands in town, please go and follow Death in Gloria so I can get on that Twitch affiliate program. But I'm thinking, is there maybe something in the realms of acting, or maybe like I don't know,
It's tricky
equity or something?
again because this kind of this realm has not been utilized nowhere near as much as it should have been before the lockdown. There's been like a band of creatives that have been pushing people like the Arts Council to to kind of help us fund digital stuff a lot more, and it's there's always been a little bit of a pushback, and now this is the only way we can create things. I'm sure that this will happen eventually, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. So yeah. So at the yeah, we should have done this so much earlier. But then, if people had done it so much earlier, we wouldn't be in a good position that we're in right now. So
Yeah,
there's a
true. I mean,
double-edged
yeah, I mean,
sword.
it's exciting kind of trying to not necessarily be a pioneer, but trying to invent something new. Um, but again, I don't have any other frame of reference because yeah, there's music on streaming, Twitch in particular. There's lots of music. There's lots of talk shows. There's lots of drag shows and things that involve like dance and things like that. But in terms of like acting, I've not seen much.
No, I don't think I've seen anything to do with acting or theater actually on Twitch. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a couple of open mic things that I've seen, but they're music based, so I guess
Right.
that really rounds it. I'm just gonna shout out quickly to Aya from Japan, who's just come online to join us as well. Oh, international fan base is coming
Mushy
on!
mushy.
Woo-hoo. Yeah. So over at the library, I'm really trying to get a lot of people to work together and do things. So, for example, we've managed to bring our biggest audience on Facebook for the library is some singing classes. So we have a group called Palace A Cappella who were our in-house library, in-house choir,
Quiet,
and
yeah.
they had their events on Tuesdays. And Eleanor has now was the first group who allowed me to push them onto the online Facebook page and get them to do their classes on our page. And they have now joined up with a choir in Lewisham called Quaggy Quaggy Community Choir. And then also, I believe another two choirs have joined them. So on a Tuesday night, they have this mega Facebook
Choir
class
off.
of, and they cut on their second, on their first stream, which was the day of the lockdown. They had like 60 people watching it, and they raised like 30 quid for the library,
Oh,
between
that's
them.
really
And
good.
every day they have shows. Every time they have a class, there's always loads of them. And it's like 50 people glued doing this class. So I think there's a real need for folks to band up with other people,
Mm-hmm.
like band together with other groups if you can get them. So where we were talking earlier about your lighting,
Yeah.
it's like if you've got theatre light, you guys have a lot of theatres up north for sure. Surely you named someone that you would know.
Oh
If they
yeah, techies. Like I've got loads of techie friends that probably be able to help me.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, so
but you
get
just don't think straight away, do you?
no, of course not. But get them to come on and do lighting classes, or like talk about being a lighting engineer,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. Absolutely that.
do whatever gets stuff onto their page. So teach them how to do stuff so they can go onto their venues Facebook pages and do the same thing over there, which basically what we're doing here. I'm
Right.
going to reconnect this back into the library afterwards. I'm like, here guys, we did this, and why don't you just come and watch? So it's
That
just
is
like
such a good
hooking
idea.
up everyone to be able to do their own thing on your channel, but
Yeah.
just thinking about how. So I needed a light. So can we not do a program where you lend me a light and you talk to me over Zoom on how to set it up to
How
look
to set it
good?
up. That's such a good idea. You see, you're a genius. I knew you were a genius.
I am very, very bored, and this is the stuff that just comes out. I just wish I'd been
Question
done
about
this
the
by.
music thing.
Yeah.
So I've seen a couple of shows now where musicians perform live on the stream and where they do pre-recorded stuff. Obviously, the pre-recorded stuff sounds great because you've got a lot of things that you can control. But you performed live and it sounded, the stream was great. So, is there any tips? Because I've got two musicians coming on. Is there any tips um, that I can give them to do it live rather than pre-record?
Yes. Yes. Just before I answer that, I will read out what Bjorn's saying because he has been talking to himself a fair amount on our chat, and it's very rude of
Sorry,
me. I'm sorry,
Bjorn.
Bjorn. He's saying it's a good point about acting. He's not seen it on Twitch. Oh, yeah. So, he's asking what kind of things do you play. She's an actress, mate. She's an actress. Maybe like a theater play, a one person play would work really well on Twitch. I think.
I think it's uncharted territory. I mean, because theatre particularly needs an audience just because of the way people experience it. I think audiences need to get used to experiencing it in a different way, which it will be digitally. So it's definitely going to be, a learning curve.
Yeah. Bjorn has also Bjorn. We did talk about the markets before you got on the stream, so we covered a lot of that. But he has made a good point there that 13 to it's 80. Twitch is 80% 13 to 20-year-olds.
Right. Okay.
So there you go.
Wow. I feel old.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. So that's maybe why I don't have an audience on Twitch, because that's it. My stuff's just too old for them. It's unbelievable. So
It's also the time of day as well. Like I've noticed, if you stream really late at night, you get big audiences. Obviously, the American audience, the American time.
oh yeah. Well, I think you're crossing time zones. So the British are up and the Americans are up, and then you get it's Europe really. Europe's up, America's up, everyone's up. So we're gonna talk about music. All right. So I'm gonna, like, most of my guys will know this, but for folks who don't know who Death and Gloria is, it's a one-woman band. I do rock music, comic art, and animations, and I basically animate the comic book into music videos, and I project them while I'm playing, and I've been playing on my own for 3 years now, and I use a lot of backing tracks in my live set. So when you go to see a live gig at a convention or wherever, you'll see a big screen that I've made, a big stage screen that I've made myself out of lycra, and tent poles actually, and me playing guitar and my light up mic stands and stuff like that. So for the reason my live shows on Twitch sound so good is because I use those stage backing tracks while I'm on the stream, right? So my backing tracks are not just backing tracks. And I'll not go into this fully because it's an audio thing. But basically, I run 10 different channels of audio to a mixing desk if I was playing out live. So the sound engineer would have a kick drum, snare drum, bass, all that kind of stuff on separate channels, and it can be mixed to the room. So it sounds like a full live band while it's only me.
Wow.
The Twitch streamed version is basically that remixed for live stream. It's not perfect. I'm still working on it, but I can change the bass. I can change the sound of the second guitar or the backing vocals. I can change all. I can change all of that, and I can EQ it, and I can adjust the volume on any of it. So I constantly every day I'm trying to up the quality of that backing track. It's actually 10 separate ones, but that's how it's done. And then I am using Pro Grid, as I said, the RME UFX interface is essentially its own mix, like out, mixing desk that you'd see at a gig. It does all the bells and whistles that the mixing desks do. I don't use any outboard effects, which is like compression or reverb and stuff on any other program. It all comes from the UFX, and that because the UFX is an outboard rack unit, it doesn't affect the computer. So a lot of like, if I was to add reverb, if you were to add reverb to your microphone, for example, unless it comes from the actual microphone itself, it might come from the software your microphone's coming into, and that will use up CPU on your computer. And every piece
Drop
of CPU,
frames.
every piece of CPU you use ruins something else.
Yeah.
All right. So to combat that, I have this outboard. It's on a separate rack down here, and all that CPU power is from it and not from my computer. So I have a lot more variables I can do.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, it really depends what a person's playing. Again, we're looking at the idea of like, don't do something that doesn't suit your audience, right? If you're an acoustic guitar player, that snowball mic that you've got could well be the thing that you need for a classical guitar and a vocalist.
Right.
If that's all you're doing. I mean, I would think one of those mics would be perfect for that. But if you're doing anything more than like one instrument and a voice, one acoustic instrument and a voice, then you're going to need a mixing desk you're going to need an interface and a mixer of some description. And that's where you get into all kinds of problems.
Yeah. We might have to go pre-recorded. I don't know. I'll see what the setup is first.
I've also tried to do musicians through Zoom, like do an open mic, because we've got this open mic night tonight, and I have to rely on people sending me videos for it, because I've tried to get Zoom to produce good enough sound that I can have people play live. The problem's been that I can make my sound good to somebody on Zoom on their side, but they can't do it the other way around because they don't have the interface that I have or the mic setup I have, and it all gets a wee bit dodgy, and you do have to fiddle with the Zoom settings for it to work.
It's also their internet as well, right? Their connection, if their connection's...
Oh, that's the one big thing that everyone can do to make their streams better is put their Ethernet cable in. Don't go off Wi-Fi. Well, you'll know this because you've done that thing. But that vastly improves everything if you do that. And headphones is another big thing that no one seems to do off their own bat. Is if you're a musician or anything, get on headphones and get yourself a good mic. It doesn't need to be an expensive mic. This one is a Sennheiser E90, I think. An E35, sorry. E935. And they're about, I don't know, 100 quid. This is actually my live stage mic. And I do have an expensive SM7. They're about 300 quid. It's a studio mic. And I also have a Slate VMS microphone, which is a full-on studio mic. And it's expensive and it's crap for this. As you said, that microphone you had there was maybe not the best one for streaming. But this one I find is best for everything. I mean, it's a £100 mic, but you do need to have the XLR cable for it. You are going to need an interface. And there's a question that has come up. Really working with the RME guys. It's like, do people think about what you want to do with your streaming after this is finished? If the streaming is just something you're going to do now and you're never going to touch it again, then go for cheap and cheerful. But if you could, I've always, it's like tattoos and all this other stuff. Go for the most expensive thing you can afford, with the idea of being able to upgrade it later, and it's
Yeah,
worth
you
it.
get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, RME do a little version called a baby face, but I think that's maybe one of their cheaper parts of gear, but it's still like 400 quid. You can probably get them on eBay for cheaper. But if you can get RME, you can't get any better.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, RME. I love you. No, anyway. There are other brands. Mutu, the mark of the unicorn, is another one. And these are really brands for if you want to take your stuff live afterwards. These interfaces would do you in a live setting, as a live gig setting, as well as a live streaming. So, yeah, I would suggest to any musician is tell them to buy as best gear as they can afford right now, and don't skimp if you can afford not to. If you can't afford to buy any gear, then maybe just ask some more questions. I'm happy to help anybody hack their way through stuff for free. So basically, the audio interface workaround that I have would work with any interface. Like, so anything will do it. Just come out of the headphone socket of one and go into your computer. That will solve any amount of audio issues, I think. And you can use any interface for that, or any mixing desk. You don't even need to have a computer interface for that. You can just have a crap, non-digital, I guess that's analog mixing desk, come out of the headphones into the computer, and that does the same job. But it's only as good as the price of the thing you're going through.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to see what their setup is. I think they might have some of this stuff, so it should be all right.
Most musicians have a mixing desk.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't really matter what kind of mixing desk it is. It will do a better job than a mic in a room.
Yeah. Let's talk about your animations. So when you did your performance for the salon, because I'm super into anime, like crazy into anime. So you draw those yourself? That behind you is your artwork?
No. So no.
But yours is as good as that.
Well, this stuff at the back of me is my artwork, but I don't draw it. Right.
Oh.
So yeah, right. And I don't animate it myself either. So I have a production team. That's lies. Basically, I knew I was going to be on stage on my own after a troupe of musicians passed through my life in the space of 20 years. I went through 12 drummers and 5 bass players to discover I can't be trusted to play well with other people. I'm just going to have to do it myself. So at that point, I was like, right, something needs to happen on stage, because who wants to watch a woman of a certain age playing guitar and singing on her own on a stage? That would be terrible. So I thought I'd get some kind of film thing, projection thing going. And my mother used to write for 2000 AD, which is Judge Dredd and all of that, in the 80s. And
that is so cool.
Yeah, a fella called Nigel Dobbin illustrated her comics in the 80s. And so we went for a comic book. So I wrote the story, I wrote the songs, I wrote the story, came up with this elaborate idea for a band. So Death and Gloria is really about the inglorious ways in which humanity destroys itself. So every album, humanity gets wiped out completely.
Right.
Every album is its own sci-fi story from start to finish, and it has a comic book, and the music videos come from the comic books. I don't actually have a comic book anywhere near me. So, but this is the artwork from the first album. So
it's all available digitally, because
it's all on deathandgloria.com.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So if you read the comic, you can watch the animated music videos for each page. So every page has its own music video. So you read the comic, you listen to the music, you watch the video, and it all tells a bigger story. Yeah.
That's cool.
So Bjorn is back on our chat. I should say that just before I go on. He's saying that all the sound stuff I was talking about sounded very nerdy. I'm very sorry. If anyone wants to ask a question about it, I will answer that. That's not a problem. And have you tried random outfits? I'm not going to wear random. Look, I wear the same t-shirt my entire life. All I do is wear my brand. This t-shirt is the t-shirt for my band. I have 12 of them because the printer misprinted 12 of the extra larges, and that's now my wardrobe, and that's all I wear. So maybe I do change t-shirts every 20 seconds. You don't know that. I don't Oh yeah, so the animations. So the fella who did the illustrations on the first album, a guy called Nigel Dobbin, had started the illustrations for the second album, and unfortunately died of a heart attack, like maybe
Oh.
3 months ago, which was really sudden. So we've had to pivot a little bit on that. So we've got another illustrator from Brazil called Sylvia, and the sketches are done. We're basically, she's done the first 2 pages now to completion, and the next album, this is something we could actually discuss next. Actually, is funding applications, because
Oh,
we're
God.
eyeball deep in funding applications.
The bane of my life.
Right. So Death and Gloria 2, Death by Admin, is due to be a 5-song album, a 12-page comic book, 5 animated music videos from the comic book, and then it was going to be made into a theater production with mixed reality projection mapping. So the idea
Oh,
was that there would be a fella on stage who'd be our main character, and
yeah.
all the backgrounds would be the comic, so the
Yeah.
office background and all this here stuff. Because the story is about a guy who works in an office who's really depressed, and we talk about all the reasons how he managed to disconnect himself from the world. He's very lonely and doesn't connect with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And through a series of minor admin errors, he accidentally destroys the entire planet. So it's set in an office. So it's like, how much can you do in an office? So his day to day is in an office, and the daydreams, the music videos are the daydreams of stuff that's
Yeah.
happened in his past. So this theater production was supposed to have this actor. We were going to projection map animations on top of him. You know, his thought bubbles would come up.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be the only actor. So other characters would be from the comic, and we're
Mm-hmm.
taking elements actually that are in the comic and putting it on.
Yeah.
And then I was going to be like a 3D. I'd be playing in the middle of the audience. It's hard to explain. This is all this arty nonsense. Playing in the middle of the audience and then being projected as a 3D character onto the screen. So the audience would see
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
play live, but they'd also see how I would interact in an art form on the
Yes.
screen. So, as you can tell, that was a massive project. It was budgeted, the whole shebang, including a tour, was out at budget at about 40 grand, and we were about to apply for the whole thing. And all of this happened, and now we don't have 2 pennies to rub together at all. So we've
Oh, I wish we'd have had this conversation yesterday or last week.
uh, okay, yeah, it's cool. We have pivoted a fair amount on this entire project now. So we have dropped the theatre production because that was the big expensive bit anyway.
Well, yeah.
And we're not entirely sure. We have to work with tech partners and stuff for that, and we're not sure what's going on with them. Nobody knows what's going on. So we've just pivoted, and have started applying for just the music and the videos. So at least, you know, the band will just be what it was on the last album, and I can do the stage shows. And I actually now know a little bit about projection mapping, so I can do some minor mapping myself
Mm-hmm.
for my next productions, but it's not going to have the same theatre production element to it.
Yeah,
So we're still,
that's a shame because that sounds really cool.
yeah.
Because I've just applied for have you heard about the Culture in Quarantine Fund?
We applied for that this morning as well, and we're not
Right. Oh, right. Okay, good.
and we're not allowed to talk about applying for it apparently.
Oh.
It's in their
Well, you don't
territory.
have to tell me anything about it. But what I was going to say is, your idea is it's not similar to my idea, but the research I did for my idea is very similar to what you've just discussed. Have you heard of what are they called? Beard something beard fantasy. It's
Oh,
very similar to what you've just talked about.
oh, okay.
What are they called? But they're like from the 70s. Like it's not
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
yours is like a modern version of what they used to do.
it's like
Some
there's a rock band version, like a metal band version of something very similar to what I used
Oh,
to
is
do.
there
Yeah. I think someone's told me that before. You know, what was it called? Beard something.
something beard fan? I can't find my notes now. Something beard fantasy, where they use kind of like digital kind of visual art with the on stage acting.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
didn't know about it until somebody told me about it the other day, and I looked and I was like, "Oh, this is really interesting."
no, but we definitely need to look into that.
Yeah,
For on the chat there, first of all, Jilly Hewitt is on. My Hi, Aunt
Hello.
from Edinburgh. Hello. And then also, Rick is saying, have we seen the videos of Aryan's recent life? Ayeron. I don't Orion. I don't know how to spell that, how to pronounce that. Recent live performances. I have not. Rick, yes, please
Mm-hmm.
link me into that on the iron thing. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I went and met some people. I won't name them because they're not strictly partners, and they may not want me naming them at this point. On the tech side, and they came up. They have. If you think if you're sitting watching this live stream, and you think that Twitch is advanced, then don't even look into VR. Don't even type in VR in Google because your mind will be blown out your eyeballs at what is actually the cutting edge of technology at the moment. Um, and we did some stuff at Boomtown. I performed on a 360 projection stage inside this 3D projection tent that was like 15 feet wide at Boomtown, and they were doing mixed reality. So some people were on VR, and then you had actors, and there was all sorts of crazy stuff went on there. I can't
Mm-hmm.
even explain it all. I don't even know how half of it worked, and I was also the production manager on that stage, so I probably should have known more than I did, but I didn't.
It's all about immersive stuff now. Like people want experiences. They don't just want to see something. They want to be in it now.
Yeah, I've kind of found myself to be in this weird middle ground between, like I want to be a rock band. I just want to play in a rock band with some musicians, and I've got a drummer guy who's working with me now. But I just it's also a price thing. Like it's far cheaper for me to tour as a single person
Absolutely, yeah.
than with a
You get
full
your fee and
band.
you don't have to share it with 6 other people.
Yeah, so I want to play rock gigs with rock bands, but I'm not. It's like I'm also a bit arty, but I'm too rocky. I'm too pop rock commercial,
Right.
too commercial rock element for the art side, and too arty for the rock side. If that makes any sense. So
Yeah, it does. But I mean, I guess with things like this online stuff, you could probably create your own genre.
yeah, but then that's the problem because my genre is actually pop rock, prog rock. So I fit into musically a genre, but not something else. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just like doing lots of stuff, so I just add more stuff. Obviously, I overcomplicate everything that's going on completely. I think that's it. So I was wondering, do you have it before I go on? Do you have any more questions about stuff?
I think like techie stuff. I think you've answered pretty much everything, or I've figured it out pretty much all the stuff I wanted to ask you.
Mm.
I think I'm just really nervous that it's mostly the bringing people in from the chat one by one is the thing that's making me nervous, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, will we see if we can just test it? Maybe we can maybe
Yeah,
just
I'm
test
gonna
something.
um I'm gonna have a tech run before I do it, and see what happens.
Yeah, so
There.
it's just really basically easy if you've got a Zoom, because Zoom will just move the camera for you. That's the easiest way to do it. You just make sure your folks know to keep quiet.
Yeah.
So I have a production meeting essentially with any of the streams I have before we go live, and I just explain like, can you not move like this? If you're on a laptop and you don't have headphones, don't be animated and talk like this away from your microphone. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and try not to shout at any point. If you get excited, don't worry about it. Try not to just let your voice spike, which you as a voice actor will understand,
Yeah.
like speaking at a constant tone.
Yeah.
There was another point that just came into my head and then it ran away from me. Something that came up on the Zoom things. I don't remember. Oh, it's gone right out of my head. It's gone right out of my head. Okay, so if people want to find you and get in contact with you and be on your show or whatever, how do you want them to contact you?
So you can contact me. We've got a Facebook page. It is Fort Culture, FORT apostrophe culture, WY for West Yorkshire. We're on Twitter as Fort Culture WY. Instagram. My name's Tanya Vital. You can find me through my name. Tons of different ways.
Okay, amazing. I've just thought of what my last Zoom tip of the day would be. So if you've got if you've got multiple people on a Zoom chat, sometimes people's cameras don't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them in your production meeting beforehand if somebody doesn't, if you're just having a conversation with someone and their stream starts to zip out, don't comment on it.
Okay.
Just let it flow back in on its own. To make sure you tell them that, because people will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you started to break up."
Yeah.
Just do not get them to just ignore the fact that stuff is breaking up, or you'll be in an endless loop of people going, "What? What did you say? I said this. Oh, what did you say?"
Yeah. Yeah. Show must go on, right?
The show must go on. Yeah, but if you're dealing
Okay.
with people who aren't actors, I think you'll
Yeah.
have a problem with that, really.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's a great tip.
Okay, so I think that is all we're going to do today. When did we start this? Like at 2:30, and it's almost like 4:30. That's a good.
Oh,
I
wow.
know. Where did the time go?
Time
Right.
flies.
That was so much fun. Oh, I wonder if you're going to do some lessons and stuff online. Could I talk you into doing something for our library channel, perhaps? Maybe just.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can do any kind of like screen acting tips and things like that. As I say, I've not set up any classes for my channel, but I'm sure I could get other people. But yeah, I can certainly do like screen acting tips and like self-tape tips, things like that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Because the more people we get on, like of your size and talents, hopefully the more the local community will come on board with stuff like that on their own. I
Yeah.
think it's like,
Yeah. Happy to. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
hey, amazing! That's so good. Okay, we're gonna go because we have been chatting for a long time. I'm gonna say,
Thank you for having me on.
hey,
Really
no
enjoyed it.
worries. I see there that James Oliver has just joined us. But you've missed it, mate. You'll just have to get on the old reruns. And thank you everyone who's joined us in the chat. This has been really good fun. I've had a real blast
Yeah,
this
it's been
afternoon.
great. Thank you.
It's better than just wallowing in misery as would normally happen if you don't see it on the screen. Okay, cool. I will be back at some point in the future with another interview. I think I'm interviewing Level Up Leroy, who is a Comic Con, a big name in Comic Con DJs. He does all the cons from around the world, and he's a really cool guy that I met at a con last summer. So I'm going to have him on next week. But from me and Tanya, it's time to say goodbye, my friends.
See you later.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Oh, it's a